Hare Krishna. I'm Rajarsi Dasa. Welcome to Hare Krishna today. On today's program, we're going to continue our series on Janmastami, or the appearance of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna in this world. On our previous program, we discussed that the way we're going to know about God is hearing from God Himself, and He conveys His message to us through Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God. So in our previous program, we looked at the history, how He said He gave the knowledge to the sun god Vivashvan. We discussed a bit about the science, knowledge about the soul, God, and the soul's relationship. We also discussed qualification. The Lord told Arjuna, I am revealing the science to you because you're my devotee and my friend. Therefore you can understand the transcendental mystery of the science. So there is a qualification required for understanding this science. But before Krishna continues or goes any further, Arjuna said, Sir, I have a question. Yes, he is a student who wants to make sure gets it right. And he has a very interesting question. Let us hear what was the question that Arjuna poses to the Lord. Text 4 of the 4th chapter, entitled Transcendental Knowledge. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavatu janma param janma vivashvatah katham etad vijaniyam tvam adau proktavaniti. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivashvan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Interesting question. Because Krishna said that in the beginning, He said in the beginning, I gave this knowledge to the sun god. Now the sun god, millions of years old. So Arjuna wants to know, but Krishna, you are my contemporary. 5,000 years ago, Krishna was speaking to Arjuna. Lord Krishna appeared. He spent 125 years on the earth planet. So Arjuna he knew about the history of Krishna there. So he says, how am I to understand what you were saying? You were saying you gave this knowledge to the sun god millions of years ago in the beginning. As far as I know, you appeared just recently on the earth planet. Yes, so Arjuna wants this to be cleared up. So Krishna said, great, I'll explain to you, Arjuna, not a problem. Text 5, he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjana tani aham veda sarvani natvam veta parantapa. The personality of God had said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. So very interesting point Krishna is making to Arjuna, because earlier on Krishna said to Arjuna, I am telling you I am revealing this science to you because bhakto si me sakha cheti, because you're my devotee and my friend. So actually Arjuna is an eternal associate of Krishna. So Krishna is saying now, many, many times both you and I have appeared. We have appeared many, many times. But there's a difference between you and me. Krishna is saying, I can remember all of this, but you cannot. Now Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita, we are all eternal souls, without beginning, without end. He told Arjuna, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you also, nor all these people on the battlefield. But Krishna, being God, the Supreme, He knows everything. He says, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. As a Supreme Lord, I know everything, past, present, future. I know all beings. Yes, He knows everything. But for us, when we go through taking different bodies, we forget. We can't remember our previous life. And that's why so many people, they think, well, I don't know if I had a previous life. That sounds like some belief, reincarnation, right? Well, I don't believe in that. Why you don't believe in that? Well, I can't remember my previous life. I can't remember any previous life. Can you remember when you were a baby 6 months old? No. Well, is that any proof that you were never a baby 6 months old just because you can't remember? No. We are eternal. What do you know? You belong to God. You have a relationship with God. What do you know? What can you remember? Therefore, we have to hear from God. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita he's saying, Tat Shrinu. You just hear from me. You hear from me. That's how we understand anything. Who we are, why we're here, what's going on here. We don't know. We're born in ignorance. So he's telling Arjuna, look, many, many times we have appeared in this world. I can remember all of this, but you cannot. So we have to have that approach. As Arjuna is inquiring, if we are jigyasu, we are seriously inquisitive. That's a preliminary qualification. If we're too busy and preoccupied in our agenda in this world, well, we don't care if there's a God and who He is, and if we don't care, well, fine, He'll leave us on our own until we wake up and we want to understand. Of course, He's our dearmost friend. He says, Surida Sarva Bhutanam, I am the dearmost friend. I'm seated within the heart of everyone. He's just waiting on us to turn to Him. Yes. So this verse, he says that many, many times, both you and I, we have appeared in this world. I can remember all of this, but you cannot. So then, the Lord continues to reveal confidential information about Himself. He says, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro pisan prakritim swamadishtaya Sambhavami Atmamayaya. Although I am unborn, and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So, the Sanskrit word aja means unborn. Ja means to take birth, janma, birth. Aja means unborn. So God is unborn. But that is the nature of the mystery of God. Although He is unborn, when He comes to this world, He just doesn't appear from the clouds. He has His Leela, or His transcendental pastimes. And just as we have parents and a relationship and different relationships, and we have exchanges, what we have is actually a reflection of the original thing. Yes. Why would God create a world with relationship and varieties and so on if He Himself is devoid and is without these things? Then what would be His interest and His business in creating a world with variety and variegatedness? This world is actually a perverted reflection of the real world, the spiritual world, the eternal world, His abode, His kingdom. So God, being the supreme person, Purusha Uttama, means Purushottama, the supreme person. He's not a boring person who is just up in the clouds, just some energy out there. No. Bhagavan means the person who possesses all opulences. Yes. Sar Aishwarya Purnam, complete. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. Samagra means complete. Yes. He has all wealth. When people have wealth in this world, they become attractive, right? What about beauty? Yes, people are always captivated. They pay a lot of money to go and see beauty contests and so on, right? Yes. So, in this world, wealth, beauty, knowledge, strength. People like to see strong people. And if people not quite measuring up, they create all kind of concocted, fictitious characters. What do you call them? Spider-Man, Superman, $6 million man. If man not doing it, you make woman, right? Wonder Woman. What is the need for all of this? Because we don't know about Bhagavan, God. Under the spell of Maya or illusion, we don't. Our memory is covered over, diluted by this material existence. So, we don't know about God. We can't remember God. So, you find in this world now, due to want of God, then what? We're making up all kinds of things. Yes. So, the Lord is saying, although I am unborn, and my transcendental body never deteriorates. That's the difference between God and us. We have a material body. subjected to disease, old age, and death. Not the soul. We are an eternal soul. Our problem is that we are identifying with a body that gets disease, grow old, and die. And we also communicate, or we also identify and associate and become attached to other bodies subjected to disease, old age, and death. So our whole formula here is one of suffering. Yes. Srila Prabhupada used to give this example. Ice cream with sand. Ice cream is very nice. You got some ice cream, but somebody stirred in a handful of sand in it. You can't relish it. Now you love relationships, right? You like to have nice exchanges and relationships. Well, how do you like the threefold miseries built in? Miseries caused by your own body and mind, miseries caused by other living beings, miseries caused by nature, the mixture of disease, old age, and then death. So, Krishna is saying, my transcendental body never deteriorates. Not a bad person to have relationship with, right? Because the relationships in this world, our body is deteriorating, and the bodies that we are hoping and expecting to enjoy are deteriorating also. So what kind of relationship and what type of success is there for you in this world? What is he? Survival of the fittest? Well, who is fit to survive in this world? But there's good news for us in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is revealing the science. There's an eternal world. Parastasmat, he says, Parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakto vyaktat sanatan. The word sanatan means without beginning and without end. So he says, besides this miserable temporary world, there's another world that is sanatan, eternal, without beginning and without end. And he says, Tat dham paramam mama, that is my supreme abode. And you belong there too, mama ivangsha jiva loke. All the jivas, all the souls in this world, mama eva angsa, you belong to me. But at the present time, manaha shastan indriyani. At the present time, you're struggling, you're suffering with the six senses that includes the mind. You're struggling with a temporary material body and a wacky mind that is making you think that you belong here, and you feel you want this, thinking, feeling, willing, and endeavoring. A wicked is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. E mana durmati sansara bhitori. A wicked mind brought me to this world. Well, of course, Krishna says in the 6th chapter, for man, the mind can be the best of friends, but the mind can be the worst of enemies. So we got to be a little careful about understanding the mind. But Krishna is saying about his existence, my transcendental body never deteriorates. And although I'm the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in this world millennium after millennium. This is the verse where God is saying, I come. He comes. He said, although I am unborn, my spiritual body never deteriorates. Although I am the Lord of all beings, I appear in this world millennium after millennium. God comes. Why not? For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son. Son come, who can stop the Father from coming? So, Bhagavad Gita is the science of God, spoken by God, yes, about the souls, eternal souls, God who is eternal, and about that relationship. So it's very important that we understand God and His coming to this world. So let us take a look at how Krishna continues to describe His coming, His purpose in coming. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya taratmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Yes, if there is some rise in irreligion, predominant rise in irreligion, he says that I descend. There's decline in religious practice, rise in irreligion. He said, at that time, I would descend. He comes in this world millennium after millennium. Avatar means the Lord who descends. Of course, there are many different types of incarnations. Very important to understand also, because for some people they don't have a clue of who God is. So when you hear about God having different forms, this becomes even more complicated for them. I want to speak of some Hindus believing that all the millions of gods, some of them believe that they are all God. And a lot of them feel that they fit in also. I am God, you are God, we are all God. Yeah. As recently someone was saying, when they fail at everything else in this world, and then the next thing they want to do is become God. Yes, couldn't become a successful businessman, couldn't become a successful this. So now you try to become God. Yes. So the idea is to understand that God, He comes to this world to help us. We're His eternal servants. We're His eternal parts and parcels. We belong to Him. He doesn't like to see His children suffering in this world, temporary, miserable world. So He comes and He says what He comes for. Yes, He's saying what He comes in this world for. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya ch duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Yes, He says, I come to this world to deliver the devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam. The saintly persons, He comes to give them pleasure, and He comes for their deliverance. And vinashaya cha duskritam, to destroy the demoniac. And then simultaneously, dharma samstapanarthaya, He establishes or re-establishes the principles of religion in this world. Dharma samstapanarthaya. So He comes millennium after millennium. So when He comes, this is called Leela, wonderful transcendental activities. He performs wonderful superhuman activities. In our following programs, we're going to describe how God coming is no boring thing. It's the greatest benediction to human society, providing we understand Him, His coming, and His activities in this world. So in our following program, we're going to discuss more about the appearance of God and His activities in this world. I'm Rajarsi Dasa saying Hare Krishna, and do join us again next week for another presentation.